How old is the Doctor? Doctor Who has been on air for over 50 years, so it's no surprise that things like continuity have become a bit loose over the years. But one thing that has irritated me for quite a while now is the inconsistency of the Doctor's age. Mainly, in Time and Rani, Seven claims to be 953 right after his regeneration, but the next time we hear his age is after the series has been revived in 2005's The Aliens of London. Christopher Eccleston's Ninth Doctor claims to be 900 three whole regenerations after he claimed to be 953. So what happened? Why does the Doctor claim to be younger? Well, I have a theory. What I want to do is calculate the Doctor's true age, and for that I'm going to be going right the way back to the beginning. First of all, how old was the Doctor when he stole the TARDIS? According to Romana in the Ribos operation, she says that the Doctor, who was 759 at the time, had been travelling in the TARDIS for 523 years. This puts the Doctor's age at 236 when he first stole the TARDIS. He would also likely have spent the next 60 years travelling with Susan, then eventually settled on Earth according to the novel Byzantium. This puts the Doctor's age at 296 in the first episode, An Unearthly Child. The first Doctor was 450 when he regenerated, as the second Doctor claims to be 450 in Tomb of the Cybermen not long afterwards. The second Doctor was a very short-lived Doctor, living only 4 years and then regenerating at the age of 454, then exiled to Earth. We know this because Jamie was with the Doctor throughout his entire era and he showed no signs of any significant aging, so there must have only been around 4 years that he was travelling in the TARDIS with him. The third Doctor is a little inconsistent regarding his age. He claims to be thousands of years old in Doctor Who and the Silurians and The Mind of Evil. But I'm going to ignore this as it completely disrupts the timeline I've built so far. So, during the Doctor's exile, we can assume that one season is equal to a year, and he stays exiled for 3 years, and then his exile is lifted at the age of 457. Jo Grant travels with him for a year, and then she leaves the TARDIS, which gives the Doctor time to travel on his own for the next 300 years until he meets Sarah Jane at the age of 747, and then regenerates at the age of 748, which matches the fourth Doctor's claim from the brain of Morbius that he is 749, not too long after he regenerated. Now the Doctor's age becomes a bit more consistent. He claims to be 750 in the Seeds of Doom, and Romana tells him he's 759 in the Ribos operation. He would have to have travelled with Romana for about 42 years so that his age matches up with the claim that he is 812 years old in the novel Cold Fusion. He meets Adric and leaves Romana and regenerates about a year later at the age of 813. We don't get many claims from the fifth Doctor about his age, but the sixth Doctor claims to be 900 in Revelation of the Daleks, putting the fifth Doctor's age at 899 when he meets Peri and regenerates in the Caves of Androzani. Then in Time and Rani, the seventh Doctor claims to be 953 immediately after his regeneration, so that the sixth Doctor was 953 when he regenerated. Now here's the tricky bit. This is the last on-screen reference of the Doctor's age in Classic Who. Chronologically, the next reference is the War Doctor claiming to be 800 years old in Day of the Doctor. What I hate about making this age canon is it means that the entirety of classic Doctor Who took place within 200 years. Because if we're being generous, the War Doctor must have fought in the Time War for around 400 years for him to have aged that much. We can see that he's quite young in Night of the Doctor. Therefore, we should take Classic Who as the canonical age for the Doctor. The Doctor really was 953 in Time and Rani. As the seventh Doctor is never seen without a companion until the TV movie, we can assume that he aged in time with the series. So he was 955 when the series ended in 1989. An 8th Doctor novel called Vampire Science claims that the 7th Doctor was 1009 when he regenerated. As the 8th Doctor has no screen time outside of his movie and the short, I will be taking his novels and audios as canon unless they contradict the show. In the novel Autumn Mist he claims to be 1018, and then in Ancestor Cell, the Doctor is trapped on Earth from 1890 to 2001, putting his age at 1129. In the novel Orbis, he stayed on Orbis for 600 years, putting his age at 1729 at the least. By Night of the Doctor, the Time War had clearly been going on a while, and the Doctor helped where he could. So I'm going to cheat with a little bit of guesswork here, but let's just say that the Doctor was 1750 in Night of the Doctor, just to have a nice square number. Now, this is the interesting bit. This is where my theory comes into play. The Doctor renounces his name and becomes something new. As the War Doctor, the Doctor starts counting his age again from 0, and he spends 800 years fighting in the Time War, so by the time it's at its end, the Doctor claims to be 800 years old in Day of the Doctor. The time and the stress of the war account for his aged look, and that puts his true age at 2550, but he would say that he's 800. Then we have another inconsistency issue. The War Doctor claims to be 800 years old in Day of the Doctor, and the Ninth Doctor claims to be 900 years old in The Aliens of London. This is only a short time later, however, as we see the Doctor notice his regeneration in Rose, and from that point on, he had just spent a few days travelling about with Rose, and he spends the rest of his incarnation with Rose, despite the fact that Clive showed Rose that the Doctor had spent some time travelling alone. The way I've gotten around this is that the Ninth Doctor met Rose in that episode, and he invited her aboard at the end, and she said no, so he went off, travelled on his own for 100 years, then suddenly remembered, "Do you know what? I never told her it was a time machine," and then came back for her 100 years later, now 900 years old, which accounts for the time gap. That 100-year gap now puts his true age at 2650, and he regenerated at that age. The 10th Doctor lives a short 6-year life, as he says he's 906 shortly before his regeneration, which puts his true age at 2656. Then the 11th Doctor aged almost 300 years, claiming to be 1200 in Day of the Doctor, and then putting his age at 2950. He then spent 900 years defending Trenzalore according to the book Tales of Trenzalore, and claiming to be over 2000 shortly after his regeneration into the 12th Doctor, although 900 years would put him in his early 2100s. This puts his full age at around 3850. Now it's a little bit more difficult as we reach the 12th Doctor, as he spends a lot of his run just claiming to be 2000 years old, so I'm going to cheat a bit here with a bit of guesswork. The Doctor travels with Clara on and off for about a year. This whole good man arc and the fact that he doesn't seem to like being alone, I can't really see it happening over more than a year in his perspective. By season 9 we see a radically different Doctor, so I'd say at least about 10 years have passed for him, and he travels with Clara for another year through season 9, so we'd say about 12 years have passed since he regenerated by the end of season 9, putting his age at 3862. And yes, we're not counting Heaven Sent because the Doctor technically didn't age. He spent about 24 years at Dorilium, putting his age at least 3886, and shortly afterwards the Doctor takes an oath to guard Missy in a vault, and according to rumours that Bill heard, he had been at their university guarding Missy for about 70 years, which puts his age at about 3956, and then he spent a year travelling with Bill, so he would have been about 3957 at the time of his regeneration into the 13th Doctor. The 13th Doctor spent a year travelling with Graham, Yaz and Ryan, and that puts his current age at about 3958, or if you're going by New Who standards, basically just 2208. So this is my personal headcanon for Doctor Who to explain the inconsistency in the Doctor's age, and this video is also serving as the launch for my new channel. So I think I'll just tell you what my plans are right now. I'm going to aim to upload a new video every Monday. I might increase my schedule a bit later on, depending on how I get on and how popular these videos get. So these videos will mainly be related to movies and TV shows that I love, and want to share my opinions on. Largely Doctor Who, because I have a great obsession with it, but also on Marvel, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, and just anything else I can think of really. So these will vary between reviews, theories, opinions, maybe ranking lists, and just other random ideas I can come up with. It's basically just going to be a mishmash of everything. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!